Okay, there we go. Finally. YouTube gave me issues. Okay, it should be back up and running for YouTube audience. Okay, yeah, I got it up and running. That is so sad. Everything came crashing down. Okay, hopefully people can find their way back here. Yeah, I'll post the new London links. My brain hurts. This is the most gupped I've had in a while. I apologize.
It's okay. Things happen.
Alrighty. Now that we're back, I want to ask you some more questions about like more rougher times sometimes. So, have you ever felt demotivated when it came to making content?
Oh, more than I can count. I've seriously considered graduating probably 3 times now, where I was just like, I'm not cut out for this.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the sad part is it wasn't that the content itself was the problem. It was that the it's the people in the nicest way that I can put it. I've it's weird because we mentioned that sometimes VTubing can get out of hand in certain ways, and people can you know think that they're overly friendly with you. They can use you, this kind of stuff. People are so willing to cut down someone else
Mm-hmm.
instead of resolving things, and we see that all the time. People are like, oh, couldn't this have been in a DM? I most people will. I keep my feelings and my friendships very much, like, especially problems, very much to my chest. I'm very much someone that doesn't really show their cards for
Mm-hmm.
a plentiful amount of reasons, but that doesn't mean that all people do the same. And the mod experience has been one of my bad ones. I've had experiences with other VTubers where they were like saying that I had issues, I needed to get therapy for. I had someone literally call my heart a black hole, that things just got sucked up by, things and people got sucked up, and I was just it was a lot. Because
Yeah.
I'm like, how does anyone earn this? Like, how do you get to the point where you feel comfortable? Because I could never say those kinds of things. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm a gamer, I should talk. But looking at someone sincerely and being like, your heart is a black hole, and the fact that no light can reach it. Like, how do you sit there and say that to someone?
Yeah.
I've just I don't know. It's always been people. It's always been things with people that have just made me feel like I'm not cut out for this. Because I'm like, this isn't the way that I would treat people. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like if you have issues, you should handle them with people. And if you can't resolve them amicably, then you just are like, okay. Because most things that happen between people are just miscommunications or a not seeing of ideals. None
Yeah.
of that requires things to blow up the way they do sometimes.
I know
I'm
sometimes.
lucky that for the most part, it only cost me some people that I cared about, and I've been able to keep most of what I had. But it affects who you are. When people tell you they're talking about you behind your back, they mean it.
Mm-hmm.
It happens in VTubing. It does a lot, and it can sometimes shut you off from places you could have liked to be because you just you end up losing that because someone else had this idea about you, and instead of resolving it and realizing that two people just didn't get along, suddenly for some reason it was just that's how it goes.
It
You
becomes
lose things.
it becomes a big thing of telephone.
It
Um.
does. Mhm. And nobody's willing to reach out to the original person to be like, "Hey, what happened?" It was just, "I heard, I heard, I heard." Well, I heard.
I think that's like the biggest issue. Not to get too personal with my life right now, but at my job, we had a very big issue occur. So two people decided to form a bond, a romantic
Mhm.
bond.
Mhm.
It lasted a month. So it was like a fling. But by golly, did it spark so much
Mhm.
that I have been mentally exhausted from it, and luckily it's started to die down now. But quite literally, the entire thing was a game of telephone. Because every time I was
Mhm.
told something about it, someone else tells me something in a different way, but in another different
Mhm.
way. So apparently, one of the people make a Snapchat about the someone else, but a lot of people took it as no, it's about this person, and then they
Mhm.
go up to the ex-boyfriend and install him, which makes my shit worse because I have to talk to him to calm down, and that talk to it became a whole mess because of a
Mhm.
game of telephone that people decided to play with the couple, which is ridiculously stupid. But I've seen that firsthand. That
Yeah.
telephone never works out, and it always ends
Like a lit
friendships. It ends relationships because that's what it is. Telephone. I like the idea of telephone just because it tells us like how hard it is to fully properly communicate someone to other people to communicate to other people,
Mhm.
because it gets misconstrued some way down the line, because that's what happens. That's what telephone is. Um,
Mhm.
and the more people that hear about it, the more misconstrued it will get. Um,
Yeah.
so which is why I always, for myself, I'm a very non-biased person when it comes to controversy, when it comes to any of that, because I rather hear both sides of the story than just one side. If I hear both sides, I can kind of make my own opinion and see, okay, this is actually not right here, and then go from
Mhm.
there. Or if you hear from just one person, or that person can be a little biased or a little,
Yeah, it takes a lot for us to recognize our own biases when we hear other stories.
mm-hmm. Because especially like with that entire situation, because from like the perspective I was hearing, the ex-boyfriend was in the right, because yeah, like holy crap, that shouldn't be doing that. And then when I heard it from her, it was just like, wait, it wasn't even about him.
Mhm.
God, I don't want to deal with this. Um, but I feel for you there, and I'm truly sorry that happened to
Oh,
you.
no, no, no. It's not your fault. It's not your problem to apologize. I've learned lessons from it, and I'm lucky that in a lot of ways I haven't let it completely temper and make me bitter and defensive toward people. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I still make the same mistake. I'll be real. I still tend to give way too much of a benefit of the doubt. But
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's going to be better for me than to just assume that everyone at the first sign of something suspicious is intending me to do harm.
Yeah. I mean that is how I lived my life for a long time, to be fair.
Mhm.
I think it was after 2018 when I had like whatever 7 years ago was. Whenever after
Mhm.
that happened, I felt betrayed, and due to me feeling
Mhm.
betrayed, I thought everyone betrayed me. So I started
Mm.
losing friends because I pushed them away, and
Yeah,
that
I get
that
that.
that happens. It took a while for me to fully get back where I was, and I'm at the point where I go around saying I'm an asshole, but much as I say that, everyone else says, no, you're actually one of the kind of people I know. I'm like, oh, God, no, I'm not. How dare you? Because I generally like enjoying talking to people. I enjoy people, whenever people do something good or does something that I would say is proper, of me being able to show them the same amount of affection they show other people. That's
Mhm.
how I look at life. I'm going to be toxic people, and usually that just means I'm killing them with kindness. And with
Mm.
people I enjoy talking to and people I know are kind, I'd be kind back to them. Like, they deserve it. In a
Yeah,
world
they
that
do.
is constantly like, you don't know how people are and you see like how people act, it's really great to see someone who is genuinely kind, which is the people I enjoy talking to. So,
Mhm. But it does sometimes feel like it's hard to figure out who that is
mm-hmm.
because I've had people call me nice, and honestly, I hate that word. I tell people I'm not nice because sometimes I don't always say the nice thing.
Yeah.
I say the kind thing, which is I'm going to tell you maybe, and I tell people this is just my opinion of something, but that doesn't mean that you have to take it. You need to think about what's best for you. But just to be like, hey, this may not be the best choice. This may not be the smartest choice. And some people are like, wow, that's kind of mean. And I'm like, well, in honesty, I never said I was nice. And is it mean or do you just feel like it's not the answer that you wanted?
Mm-hmm.
More often than not, it's the second.
Yeah.
So,
I I most definitely don't sugarcoat things too much either, because I kind of have no choice but not to nowadays with
mm-hmm.
my job. Because if I
Mm-hmm.
have to tell someone straight up, then I have to tell them straight up. Even if you're like a
Yeah.
friend of mine, I still have to tell you straight up that you messed up, because that is my job. Um, and at the end of the day, when it comes down to my friends, if I mess up, I want them to do the same to me. Like genuinely,
Yeah.
I want you to come at me, because as long as you're able to do that, you'll be fine. Like if it isn't a pointless claim, then you're fine. If it's a pointless claim, then you're screwed. So, because I'm a very analytical person, I look at a lot of things
Mm-hmm.
analytically. So if I feel like you're telling me one thing, but it's not true, and I know it's not true, then you might be a little I might be a little upset. So, because I know exactly what you were going after. Because I've
Mm-hmm.
had people do that before, or like they call me fake or something like that, and then they come at me and apologize for their actions. I'm like, yeah, I wonder why. Like, you just came up to me and called me fake because you misinterpreted what I said to someone. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't even about you. So I've had that happen to me in the past, and usually that immediately just tells me who like some of my friends are and who isn't. Whenever I have
Mm-hmm.
that issue, but for the other part, it doesn't happen because I usually just keep myself at a distance, and when I talk to people, like people know what I'm talking about. Because I usually, if I don't like someone, I just don't talk to them,
Yeah.
which is more than likely fair for most people. Let me see. All right, we're gonna be wrapping up here shortly. I know you got a collab here soon.
Mm-hmm.
So I have just a couple more questions in terms of everything. So in terms of like you talked about doing like a hand reveal. Are you planning on doing that anytime soon, or are you just gonna hold off on that for a bit until you get?
My hope is to do it for Valentine's Day because I wanted to build some Legos
Mm-hmm.
for the bouquet of roses. I want to build that on stream really badly, but I got to figure out how to do the hand cam thing. And that's my hope, is that my entire chat's gonna be like baby hands, and I'm like, yeah, yeah, can still smack you with them. So that's gonna be hilarious.
Hey, don't don't mock baby hands. I have small hands too, so don't worry.
Seriously, my community mocks my baby hands.
I have very small hands, which is like I'm 5'10", and my hands are smaller than most of my five
Yeah,
foot ten
I'm a six
friends.
foot, and I have hands since middle school, which is weird. Like everything else grew, but like my hands just were like, "Wham."
Wait, how tall are you? 6 foot?
Yeah,
Oh god, I'm gonna be looking up.
not that high, but you less lately. But that's the thing, is that people are like, "Why are your hands small?" I don't know. That's a good question. I should ask my fucking pediatrician what happened to me. Why did I not hit my growth milestones or whatever?
Hey, I may have baby hands, but God started my slap is still gonna hurt.
Exactly. I'm still gonna hit you with it.
Exactly.
Gonna hurt all the same.
I still do some damage with my baby hands. Don't mock it. That just means you're gonna get more damage. My baby hand's gonna make you have baby hands. So the other question I have for that is, what are some other things you do for fun in terms of like your
I
outside
play
life?
an obscene amount of Apex. Like obscene amount of Apex. Let me go look and see how many hours I have at this point. I think even I'm gonna be moderately concerned by how many hours I have on Apex.
I'm gonna also compare mine hours on
I have
Apex.
2,300 hours. Smile.
Hold on, let me pull up my Apex
I love
because.
playing FPS shooters. I sometimes read, and I like reading manga. I'm currently really into Has Been Hotel,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm trying to convince myself that I don't need to cover every song. I just want to.
Fair.
I just wanna. I don't need to.
I will say you do have more hours in Apex than I do, but not by much. I have 2,239 hours in Apex. But I know my friends have a lot more than you. So,
Mm,
like, I guarantee you Spooky and Bridge has, like, an insane amount of hours in Apex, because that's all they
mhm.
play.
Yeah, I have other friends that play insane amount of hours too. So I know some dude with like close to 4,000, and I'm just like, damn. Okay.
I mean,
Okay. Cool.
Apex is fun, so I can't really shame people doing it, because it's like, ha, you shouldn't be playing that much Apex. And I look at my hours, I'm like,
Yep. Yep.
So, have you gone to like any conventions by any chance, or have any plans going into conventions?
I have been invited to some friends to TwitchCon this year, but I don't think I'll be able to afford it. I'm trying to buy my upgraded